over the weekend, I got offered a an opportunity to be on an independent feature film
Hmm.
and as a first AC, which was really exciting because I've never done first AC before, and I got recommended to it by another AC I know. And over the weekend, it's been up and down because I've been trying to figure out, negotiate a good rate because it's a micro budget. And yeah, that was like, I was asking my camera assistant friends, I'm like, oh, what do you think on this? And that sort of thing. And it's just been up and down sort of thing.
What do you mean
And
by
I
up and
remember
down?
back and forth because I was very indecisive. I didn't know whether I should do it or not. And I finally made a decision yesterday. And after I made the decision, I was feeling really, I had a big pit in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I remember you were talking about the thoughts, and I had started having negative thoughts in my head. And I'm like, oh, there's a thought again. And I was
Oh,
trying to
so good.
implement that in practice. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So let me ask you a couple questions. So did you say yes or no?
I did say yes.
Okay. And how long is the project?
5 weeks.
Okay. Only 5 weeks. Okay. And when does it start?
Mm. March 9th.
Okay. So not until March 9th. Okay. And
Mm.
what was the rate that you agreed upon?
Initially, they quoted me 650 for a week, which obviously not great.
For 5 days?
And I ended up,
For
yeah,
5 day weeks? And how many hours? Did they say how many hours per day? Is there a cap on
10
the hour?
hours.
Okay, for 10-hour days.
Mm.
Okay, not bad. All right.
Mm.
So they said we
Yeah.
got 650 for a first AC job. They said
Mm.
that. Okay.
Mm. And I said,
Okay.
I don't think I can do that at this stage, because I live at a home and I rent. And I ended up coming back and I negotiated up to 800. And they said, yeah, that's cool. So ended up going with that. So yeah.
That that's awesome. That's
Mm.
great. That's
But yeah,
awesome. Oh, good, good.
the only thing was is like, oh, did I do the right thing? Should I have gone higher? And there's
Uh,
like all
yeah,
those negative thoughts were in my head for a
I
while.
see. All
Mm.
right. So, yeah, list your negative thoughts about it now. Should I go on higher? Was that the right thing? What else?
I think the big thing is, yeah, you're gonna laugh. It's have I ruffled any feathers by doing this? Because I was asking camera assistants what they thought. One of the my mentors, he said he quoted that production 2 grand a week because he has his own van, he has his own equipment, and he can actually charge that amount because he's got all the gear that he's got. So it was like, oh man, like I've got so much further to go.
Okay, so
And
you
I
so what
remember,
happened was you reached out to him and he said, "Yeah, they contacted me and I quoted them
yes,
$2,000 a week with equipment." Is that what happened?
yes,
Okay, good. So
yes,
that would be the
mm,
circumstance. That'd be the circumstance line. So he said this for the thing.
mm.
Okay, and then you had a thought about that, which was,
Am I undervaluing myself? Am I, upsetting these people because I'm going a bit less than they are? And
ah,
yeah,
you're
there,
like, oh
there is that
shit, am
thought.
I undercutting? Did I go too low on this? Because,
Mm,
but they didn't offer to him at 2000. So that was over their budget.
no,
Right. Okay.
exactly.
So it didn't work.
And
The whole thing was too low budget for him, and he'd be better off working on something that, because he's, how many years ahead is he? How long has he been doing
oh,
it?
geez, yeah, I remember talking to him about this, and he said if this was me 1, 2, 3 years ago, I said I would have said yes in a heartbeat to
Ah,
this
exactly.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So he's probably about 1, 2, 3 years ahead of me.
Uh huh.
Like he's
Although
got
you,
a lot of experience. Mm,
yeah, he has a lot of experience. So yeah, it wasn't an appropriate job for him, and it didn't work for them with the rate that he needs to get paid. This happens all the time for
mm,
me. I'm like, they'll offer me something, and I'll say, oh right, okay, well that's I only work for this amount per day, $1,000. It has to be at least $1,000 a day, and even that I'll turn down. Like turn down $1,500 per day because I know that by March, for me, I'm going to be getting other jobs that I'll have to turn down if I commit to that. So I'm just going to turn it down. So I don't think that he had any problem turning it down. So therefore, I don't think he had any problem you taking it for a lesser rate.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I really did think about it because initially I was gonna walk, but then he put it in perspective for me. He said like the experience you can get from this is really good, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, he's actually right. Like that would be really good, and that could get the street cred I really kind of need to excel even further, and move really fast as you say. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh man,
And
maybe
get
I
the
should do this.
repetition
Yeah,
of doing the first AC job in all these different situations day after day after day after day. Yeah,
exactly.
you're going to get
So.
really good.
mm,
Yeah, you're going to get it in your
So
body.
yeah, so it was like a natural decision for me. So, and eventually I did. I called a producer. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is the rate. And he said, yep, all right, we'll put you
Yeah,
in. I'm like, yes,
that's awesome.
man.
Yeah, great.
Mm,
Okay, so now you probably that, and then the thought comes in. Well, could I have asked for $1,000 instead of 800? Did I go too low?
yep, yep.
Okay,
I had that thought too. Yeah.
possibly, maybe we
Mm,
don't know. It's an unknown, and so you might be like, okay, so if you think the thought that, oh, maybe I could have gotten $1,000, there's no upside to that thought. There's no upside. And is it going to matter in 10 years when you're DPing if you could have made an extra $200 a week? Is it going to really matter? No. What matters is
no.
you've got the job and you're going to get that experience and you're going to get repetition and which is going to be very good for you and you're going to work in different situations, a car, a house, a beach, a whatever, and you're going to get good. That's what matters. It's not about the money right
Mm,
now. Especially when all of us when we're starting off, it's not about the money. It's about the repetition and being in all these different situations and figuring out tough stuff. So that's all that matters.
mm.
All that matters,
Yeah, absolutely.
all that matters is your mental state, actually. That's all that matters. How you think about
Mm,
yourself and your opportunity is all that matters. I don't think I've ever said that before to you guys yet. It's a little bit more advanced, but I want you to all get that all that matters is what you think. So therefore, if you're
mm.
like, oh, this thought flies in of like, oh, I could have done better. Okay, it's like, all right, is there any upside to that thought? No. All that matters is what I think. And then you tell yourself another thought that nurtures you, that brings you forward, that makes you stronger, that is what you want to be thinking. This is awesome. I did the right thing for myself. And then stand
Mm.
in, you, DP, in the future, thinking back at the situation of you negotiating with us. You're like, did it matter? No, not in a second. I made a decision, and I'm going to make thousands of decisions in my career. That's just one of them that I made. Hmm.
Yeah, try not to attach yourself too much to it, basically. Like
Well,
distance yourself.
just see
Yeah.
that whatever your thoughts, you just want to see the thoughts that you latch onto and decide to think are all for you.
Mm.
Yeah, everything is for you. So when thoughts fly in that make you feel bad, you're just like, oh, okay, well, all right, I guess I could think that, but this is all happening for me. I'm going to choose to think that. Boom, that's it. Because
Yeah.
in your career, you're going to have so many different like things that you can, as you go through your career, you can think of like, holy shit, I should have said that, or I should have done that, or I should have said this, and I could have gotten more money there. You can do that. Just be aware of those thoughts because they're going to come in and they're going to always be there. But then get really good at focusing in on what your main thoughts are. Like, I did the right decision. I'm nurturing my career. I'm excited about this opportunity. This is a great opportunity. So just start to be aware of your intentional thoughts.
Yeah, I think you're right. And yesterday when I was going through that negative thoughts, I did bring out I have like a book in my room that I use for writing whenever like thoughts come up now. And yeah, that's something I did was write the CTFAR
Good.
and really kind of broke down through it. So yeah, it's a new habit I'm going to try and implement now whenever
Yeah.
I have a thought come through.
Yeah, yeah. Then we start writing down the thoughts. You become aware of the thoughts. You write them down and you look at the feeling that you have. And then you look at the actions that you would take from that feeling and see if that's the result that you want to have. That's why the thought,
Mm.
oh shit, maybe I negotiated too wrong. And then you said, oh, you get this thing, stab in the stomach of like, oh man, I feel like I made a mistake. Like I feel fear. I feel concern, disappointed. And then from that action, you're like, oh man, I'm ruminating on it. I'm churning on this thing. I'm second guessing myself. I'm giving myself a lot of
Mm.
uncertainty. And then the result is like, yeah, I made the decision, but I think I could have fucked up. You don't have, and thinking about it, again, you just go to, I'm a DP working for Netflix. Do I want to be having this experience for myself? Do I want to be giving this experience to myself?
Yeah, and
You
that's a good
know,
way of putting it, actually. Yeah,
mm,
like does future me really want to be feeling kind of shit right now, despite this is gonna benefit me?
yeah.
And yeah, that's a good way of framing it.
Hmm. Yeah. Now you can take it through this model and go, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. I actually feel good that I was aware of this thought process. I'm not in it. I actually just created that, but I can create something else just as easily. Like this is going to be a great I'm going to learn a lot on this one. This is going to be a great opportunity. And then you run that through this model again. And you're like, wow, both of them side by side. And which one is going to be the one that is going to be me in the future, me, the future DP? Because what you practice is what you get. So when you keep practicing the way of thinking, like, oh, this will be a great opportunity. And then the thought comes in, oh, shit, should I have taken the other one? You're like, oh, I don't have time for that one. This is going to be a great opportunity. This is how I want to be thinking.